everyone. So I finally did get the supply that I needed for the next project in the little skull series that I mentioned on the skull canvases. So what I needed was a mirror, because the next project we're going to do a scary reflection that glows in the dark. So the mirror that I wanted was this one because it's a little ornate and Victorian looking, which blends better with the Gothic type style and more Halloween to me. So they usually have these in pink, black, or white, but this time they only had pink, so I'm going to have to paint this black so it'll match better with the Halloween decor. Of course, you can use any mirror that you like, anything that has a great frame, and you can make this as small or large as you'd like. Now, the next thing that I needed, because my mirror was pink, was my black paint. Again, I'm using the Deco Art Americana that I got at Michael's in that Halloween Crafts 2017 supply video. It was the first video. This again normally is about $3. I think it was on sale for like $1.89. And this I've been able to use for all the projects so far, and I'm only about, I'd say, a third of this used. So this has been really going a long way for me. The next thing that you're going to need is going to be glow-in-the-dark paint. Now this one is also Americana. When you go to Michael's and look for the glow-in-the-dark paint, this one was kind of hard to find, but there are going to be 3 or 4 different brands. This was the cheapest and smallest, and of course, because I don't use glow-in-the-dark paint a lot, that's what I was looking for. One thing that I did discover after about 10 minutes looking for this paint is when you go in the paint aisle, there are rows and rows and rows of different brands and different types. So what you'll do is just look down, and there's going to be like little labels under each type of paint. So if you just look down, you'll see it'll have like pastels, acrylics, oils, things like that. And then that glow-in-the-dark paint is going to be where it says either miscellaneous paint or it'll say specialty paint. But that'll help you find it a lot faster than what I did. Next thing you're going to need is coarse brushes to apply the paints. Now these are 2 of the brushes out of the $5 pack that I bought, again, as mentioned in that video. These have been doing really well for me, so I just washed them out. Since we're using water-based paints, just wash them with soap and water, dried them out to use them for this project. And then, as I mentioned before, the printer was on the fritz, so until I get that back, I'm having to make do. So a pencil and scissors are going to be what I use for my template so that I can make the design for the mirror. Now, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to, if you have a little colored mirror that you don't like I do, you're going to paint the mirror. So to do this, first you're going to remove the mirror. If you buy the same exact one that I did at 99-cent store, they have these little plastic prongs on them. You just pull them back and then you push the mirror out. It should just pop out. Be careful though, of course this is glass. You don't want to shatter, break it, crack it, anything like that. Alright, once I remove the mirror, then I painted the frame. Now, for painting the frame, you can use, of course, spray paint, or you can use the paints that you have already. Now, for me, I wasn't going to buy spray paint just for this one little item. So, I used what I had. I just took that Deco Art Americana paint, and I took the brush that I got from there, the thicker brush, and then I just lightly went over all the sections that are flat, and then anything that had contours to it, I took the brush and just kind of pushed it in. That way, you know, just move it all around the angles to get good coverage. This only took 2 coats, so I really think that, hope y'all can see, turned out really well. Now, next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your mirror and either draw your image or use a computer and print something out that you like that's going to fit in this size. What I am doing is I am finding an image that I like online. Now, I'm sure with all the crazy copyright stuff, I probably can't turn this around and show you because someone owns the image. But what I've decided to do in my mirrors is I'm doing a set of 2, so I'm going to do Jack and Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. What I did is I found an image that I like of Sally, and then I'm going to take my white sheet of paper here, put it over the image, so that I can make my stencil. Just going to follow the image around, because of course since it's black it's quite easy to see with the white paper. Now, this is what the beginning of Sally looks like. And of course I'm going to do the same with Jack. Jack's really not that hard, so as long as you could draw some circles and, you know, a line, you're pretty good with him. But just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and get an image of him as well. Now Sally looks pretty nice and happy, so I'll probably try to find the same for Jack. Something that has him pretty straightforward, of course, since it's supposed to be a mirrored image. Now the other thing you can do too is you can search for like things you would pretty much normally put on a pumpkin. So if you have pumpkin stencils around that are smaller, or if you just want to search pumpkin images or pumpkin stencils online too, there's going to be lots to choose from. It's a great thing about online. We all like to share and give each other ideas. So there is a ton to choose from. Okay, so once you have whatever you want to use copied onto your paper, it'll look something similar to this. And then what you're going to do is cut those shapes out. That way you can make your own custom stencil using the paper. Once you have everything traced out for your stencils, it should look something similar to this. This one is for Sally, and this one is for Jack. You'll then take your stencil and place it over the mirror where you'd like your design to line up. And then just to keep it in place, you'll use a little bit of tape. And just pull everything down nice and tight. Oh, this is everything taped down. And you're going to take your glow-in-the-dark paint and fill in everything for your stencil. Once you have that filled in, yours should look similar to this. And you're going to allow about 5 minutes of drying time between coats, and you're going to apply 2 to 3 coats as needed. You just want to make sure that everything's filled in nice and solid, that way it has the best chance of glowing and not having any of the paint lines. Once you have your stencil transferred on, you've done a few coats of paint, this is what your mirror should look like. Well, kind of. Depends on what you put on them. But it'll be to where you can barely see the image. And then anything that you need to clean up, because of course it was a stencil, so you're always going to have a little bleed over, you can just take some rubbing alcohol here and just take a Q-tip. That way you can do a fine detail all around to clean. We're going to give these time to dry. I would say probably an hour or more, just to make sure that everything is really dried well, because this is mirror, so of course once everything is dry we're going to need to clean it so there's no fingerprints or any smudges from the paint. Then we're going to replace them back into their frames, and then once we do that I'm going to show you how they look in the dark. Here's a picture of mine, and that's with them popped back into their frames. Now another thing you can do once you have them framed is you can also, on all these little details of your frame, go around and put some more glow-in-the-dark paint. The other thing you can do is, like in the little circle here, you can monogram. Like for Sally I could put an S, for Jack of course a J. Just have fun with it. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how these look in the dark, which is the whole point. Alright everybody, so here are Sally and Jack in the dark. Here's my Sally. Here is Jack. I know they're kind of hard to see. The more that you keep them in the light, kind of charges up the glow in the dark and they'll glow brighter. Alright, that wraps up today's project. I hope everything turned out well for you. That one should be one that is quick, easy, and cheap, so what else could you ask for? Again, if you do have any questions or comments, just put those below. I do respond to everything, so if you want to ask about a product or maybe some different options or just get stuck, I'm happy to help. And also subscribe. That way you'll be getting the newest videos soonest, and I will be putting out, like I always say, at least one video a week. There may be more depending on if I see an idea or an event comes up that I would love to share with you guys. So again, happy haunting, and I will see you on the next one.